All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Spotlight. We have a returning guest, fan favorite, Sam Poage. Sam, why don't you go ahead and say hi?
Hello, everyone.
We had a riveting historical conversation that I've yet to match, honestly, like with anybody. Just nerding out.
You gotta be passionate about it.
You gotta care. Which, I don't know. I love writing and I love reading, but I don't know if a history major is something that I'd ever considered doing.
You know, sometimes I really hate reading, but I had a 2-page proposal recently, and I was really dreading it. And I was like, man, this is gonna suck. And I cranked it out in an hour. I was like, thank God I'm a history major.
Yeah. You're just used to this.
Yeah.
I know. I barfed out a 1-page essay this weekend. It literally took me maybe 10 minutes to do.
Yeah.
The second I had to start citing sources, though, that's when it slows the whole process down.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember somebody was like, dude, did you type all that in 10 minutes? I literally a page and a half on a movie review because it literally is just, I don't know.
I found what helps with that is you just type all that stuff in one time Zoom. Or not one time Zoom, just one times line spacing. So that way your brain doesn't perceive it as I need to.
Oh, it's almost done?
And yeah, so then you'll write a full page and then you'll double space it and it'll be 2 pages.
2.5, 2 pages.
Yeah.
Dang, man, this is big brain. Okay, so I said we'd talk about Rainbow first, but I think we're going to talk about history first because I want to talk about history. But
okay.
So I'm actually most concerned about, so when do you graduate? Don't you graduate this semester? Or is
I
it
graduate this winter.
This winter, yes.
Yeah.
So then walk me through your college experience and just now that you're almost done, I mean, how was it? What'd you learn?
It's kind of weird. It went by really, really fast.
Yeah.
Way faster than I thought it would. And also, people always hype up college, but I don't think college has really been all that.
Really?
Yeah, it's it was fun and I've learned a lot and I've definitely grown more as a person, but they overhyped it way too much.
What was something that you think was just overhyped, but when you got here, you're like, yeah, this isn't really
on the tour, they'll bring you to the library or all these common places. You could meet all these new people and go play frisbee out in the park or whatever. And it's nobody wants to talk to you. And you have to be in a club or have a close-knit friends to go play frisbee.
Literally everybody on campus has earbuds in and they're walking. You're not talking to any stranger.
I'm pretty
campus.
sure they put people they hire actors to put in the library.
Yeah.
Look how lively we are,
It's everyone in the library is literally and then just earbuds in, typing like this. You're not gonna go and interrupt somebody.
Yeah,
working
in a cubicle, doing math. It's nobody's doing that.
Nobody wants to talk to anybody either. That's what I tell people. You think you'll sit in the cafeteria and sit with the stranger and but every time you talk to somebody, you're met with the what's up. You're oh, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
And then
it's damn, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely some cool people that I met, but
yeah, you meet them doing something. You're not gonna walk up to somebody on the streets and
I had an interesting experience. This dude, I was reading next to the Campanile, and this dude in a leather jacket all just came up to me. I was just reading. He's like, "Hey man, what's your name?" I'm like, Sam. He's like, I don't even remember his name. He's like, I'm so and so. I'm just looking to meet new people. What's you reading there? I was like,
it's so awkward.
Medical book. And he's like, oh, it's awesome. I really love that. I'm he's an engineering something. It's I'm going to the MU. You want to go get some lunch? I'm like, no. No.
Dang, dude.
I gotta finish this.
Yeah. I can't blame you. You know what I mean? But you're the person.
Yeah, I'm the person. See,
you're the reason why we can't talk to people on campus. But at the same time, what do you expect? Yeah, what do you expect though? I mean, everyone who's on campus is leaving so that they're motivated to do work. Probably 80% of the time. So somebody's going to be in the middle of a project when you go and talk to them. So it's you want to go get lunch? It's no, I'm sorry.
I don't even know you.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Oh, man. I think I had one interaction where I sat, because the dining centers will be so packed, and you just have your earbuds in, and sometimes you just have to sit next to somebody, but you're watching a video.
Yeah.
And then some guy just started talking to me. It's okay, well, I guess I am I am chatting with you today.
I have not been to a dining hall. I've been to dining halls with you, but not just by myself to go and eat. I don't miss that at all.
I'll be doing it for the next couple years since I get my food paid for. So you know how it is. So I'll get used to hopefully those social interactions. But As far as like an academic level, what do you think, like before and after college, what do you think it's allowed you to do? I mean, what have you reaped from college academically?
Definitely. Well, like I said, paper writing and research, huge. I know in high school I was like a 4-page paper. I would hate to do that. Or
But
like
now-
or like 1,000-word paper. That's nothing, dude.
Yeah.
I could crank that out in like an hour.
Yeah.
Not an hour, but like in a night.
Yeah, yeah.
And researching, I think, to me, when I came into college, well, when I came to college, I was a comp sci major. But when I was coming to the history department, I was like, I don't want to do research. That sounds really boring. But it can get interesting if you really care about the topic.
Yeah, and I think, is that what the stipulation is with history? Like, is that what gets you going? Is the ability to find something that you're actually interested in?
Yeah. No, I was thinking about that earlier today. I was like, I think this is for every major, but if you don't enjoy it, then it's not going to be easy, or like you're not going to, like, a person who hates writing and reading is going to absolutely hate and not be terrible, but they're going to struggle with history. Just like how I hate math and I could never be an engineer.
Yeah, which shocks me that you went in with comp sci and then you probably saw the
I had to do
10
calc.
you had to
I had to do calc. I was
like,
because I had to take pre-calc in the dorm, and I almost failed that.
yeah, if anything was a warning to what the future of math would look like for you, it'd be.
And I heard like all these rumors like Calc 2 is the hardest class here at Iowa State. Like so many people drop out. I'm like, why would I want to do that?
Yeah. Why would I want to hurt myself?
Yeah, this is just not worth it. They say college is supposed to be enjoyable, so
Yeah.
I figured I'd actually do something I want to enjoy.
Oh, which is so awesome, and I think history is kind of like a niche. It's a niche thing to want to be in.
It's a body of like 600 students, I think.
Yeah, which is insane. That's so low. It's definitely
yeah,
a
we're like
tiny-
2%.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty tiny area. But so you learned. Was it that you were forced to do papers and you learned to love it, or did they actually kind of help you write, like learn to write, like learn to enjoy
My
it?
class that I took last year, History 301, every history major has to take it in order to graduate. It's called Historian's Toolbox.
Okay.
And so they'll teach you how to write a research paper, and that's what the paper that I handed you last year. And they will go step by step, like, this is how you do Chicago citations. This is like the word choice that you want. You look at like sentence structure and see what words and like tenses go better. And I have a lot. For a long time in history and or in high school when I went to even like the DMAC and they'd have these huge papers, I would use a lot of filler words. You can't do that.
No,
because
you have to
they'll
be
mark you.
concise.
So I've had to really learn to like recognize like, oh, this is useless. Like I like to say as well as, and I can just say comma and,
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that you have to really catch.
Well, I know because in high school you'd be tasked with a 400-word paper, and half of those words were
just
like
nonsense.
just nonsense. That's what I do all the time.
Yeah.
It's just especially my favorite thing is packback. If you ever had to do packback, it's basically just a discussion board like they'd have at DMAC
Okay.
where like write one thing and respond to 2 others. You know what I mean?
That's
And
horrible.
And
That's
they,
the worst college
they
experience
give you
ever.
they give you a score based on it's supposed to be on how good the thing is, but it really is just how many words are in it. It takes me a minute to write 100 words because half of them are like as well as.
I could
like,
finesse that so much.
I know. It's so funny. Not proofreading it once, just hitting send because I know that nobody's reading
Yeah.
what I put. It's just this chat room of words that go into the aether that are never going to be read ever again.
That's what one of my classes is, a culture and interpretation class. We have to do, essentially the only grade in there is responses to reading. And we don't have to respond to classmates. We just have to write a response. And there's no word requirement or anything. He kind of does it weird. He's from Sweden, and so he uses like a European style grading, which I don't really understand. It's not like a basic thing where it's like, oh, you hit this quota, you get this grade. It's kind of like freelance. And I've had to ask him numerous times, like, why did I get a 7 out of 10 on this, but a 9 out of 10 on this one? And it'll be like, I just didn't feel like you grasped what we were talking about. I was like, all right, I guess.
I'm not grasping what you're talking about.
But like, I'll write a response, and it'll be, in Canvas, it'll look like a little paragraph, but it'll be 400 words. And if you don't know, 300 words double spaced on a Google Doc is 1 page.
Yeah.
So I've cranked out 1 page, compressed it to a paragraph. It's like,
what do you mean I didn't grasp it?
Yeah.
It's like, you try writing 400 words about this. I don't know. The paper writing's been fun. I haven't really had the chance to write a bunch of papers that I care about. So I know that later in psychology, that's pretty much all you do.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for that moment. 'Cause
Yeah.
right now.
I have one big paper left, and then I'm done.
What is it?
My capstone, History 495. So and there's two branches of history you can go down. There's like education, and then there's just like traditional. Education don't have to take 495 anymore. They have to take, I think they have to do like interns, like in school teaching.
Work experience or something.
Yeah, but if you're gonna be like a regular history major, you have to do 495, which is write a 25 to 30 page research paper. And so essentially, 301 is the prereq for this class, and they set you up. And then when you go to 495, they just throw you into it. Just like, okay, you know what to do. Just go do it.
Is that the only thing you do in that class?
Yeah.
Like you just have.
You meet for 3 hours and write.
Wow. Okay, so at least they give you the, I guess, designated.
That's
class
my
time.
understanding of it.
Oh, so you haven't taken it? You're taking it next semester?
I've taken next semester.
Oh, okay. Do you have any ideas what you're going to do?
Yeah, so so each class has a theme, and there's 2 class periods. And my registration for classes starts on the 4th of April. So I'm going to get the one that I really want. But the one I don't want is U.S. foreign policy.
Yeah.
That's so boring. I do not want to write 25 pages about U.S. foreign policy. But the second one is about witchcraft in colonial Britain.
Wow. Why are they so specific?
I'm like, I want that so bad.
Dude, that'd be kind of awesome, man.
Well, U.S. foreign policy is pretty broad. Because the U.S. has literally touched every single country pretty much on the entire planet.
Yeah, so that made sense as like...
You could literally do anything.
But specifically like colonial witch hunting?
Not just like witchcraft.
Just the whole...
So like the culture of witchcraft within Britain.
Is that like a big chunk of their history?
I mean, if you think about it, yeah. They had like a pagan religion. They didn't believe in Christianity until, the Romans brought it to them. And so witches kind of goes with it for their own thing. And then, the Salem witch trials is a prominent event.
Yeah,
so,
everyone knows about the Salem witch trials. So I guess
it's a pretty big thing. It was a big deal.
That's a pretty obscure like history section
so
for me. So, but dude, that'd be kind of sick though.
There was an anthropology class I was going to be taught this year, and they canceled it. It was like witchcraft, sorcery, and magic.
Dude.
And they canceled it. I was like, no.
Dude, that'd be so awesome. Every like Percy Jackson fangirl is gonna like want to take that course.
I was like, who canceled that? Yeah. They knew that class would be full instantly.
Yeah, it's it's the part of history that people are like, when they think history, it's like these are the stories that they tell where you're like, do you believe?
So bummed, dude.
That people believe this kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm so bummed.
Oh, so what else in your college experience do you think you've learned? Is there anything like course content wise that you learned in this that's that really speaks out to you in the last couple of years?
Course content wise, I've told you last time about my interest in the Civil War and Reconstruction. Mm-hmm. So everything related to that, I am all in about.
Yeah.
And I think a lot more people should be interested in it because it is our history. It's a pretty important part of our history, but I think it's kind of swept under the rug as far as like the standard goes. I actually wrote for my final in my independent study last year. I wrote a 10-page proposal on curriculum that we should compile together as a standard entry level for Civil War Reconstruction history.
Wait, so what? Tell me more about that. So, like specifically, what kind of stuff were you saying?
So, I argued that the American education system does not do enough justice to teach people about the Civil War and the era of Reconstruction to what it truly was. They'll talk about it. Now, they more talk about the Civil War than Reconstruction than anything. Mm-hmm. But I proposed this, I think it's called a historiography, and it was a collection of 4 books. These are 4 books that I selected, but what I recommended is that we get like I think it's like the Southern History Association and like the American History Association together and agree upon 4 or 5 works that we can put into a book and make that the standard entry level thing. Like if you knew nothing about the Civil War and Reconstruction and you wanted to know everything, or not everything, but have a good knowledge to like branch off of, this book would be it.
Okay, and so then is this something like where does this get introduced in like a curriculum?
It could be in high school, I think. I think it'd probably have to be an upper level high school, like mid junior or senior. But definitely like freshman year college, like for college classes that they offer for teaching history, definitely this book would be. It'd be. I know there aren't really textbooks in my experience. There aren't really that many textbooks in college, but I think this would be a really good one.
It'd be it's a cool project to kind of understand, like, so where do you think the holes are then, like, or what do you think isn't talked about enough or like expressed enough? So like what do I not really understand about the Civil War, or like most people understand about Reconstruction?
Generally, most high school textbooks will talk about the perspective of the North because they won, right?
Yeah.
Why would we talk about the loser?
Yeah.
But the loser is so interesting. You know, there was a book. Dang, I can't remember the name, but one of the books that I recommend talked about what it was like to be a plantation owner before, during, and after the Civil War. There's so many interesting things within it. There's like a whole chapter talking about how there's huge amounts of plantation owners who are like, do not start this war. This will end slavery, and we know it, and it'll kill the economy.
Yeah.
And they were shunned because the popular majority were seeing this as like their American Revolution, and it was God's plan. And so they were like, we are like the second wave of American patriots, and we need to stand up against the tyrannical North to save our America.
Dang.
And so that's even before the war started. And then after the war, the people who were like, we shouldn't do this, some of them got their like stuff rebuilt and their stuff back. They're saying, well, I didn't support it. Mm-hmm. And the North was like, okay, well, here's a couple $1,000s to rebuild your farm. And while those people got stuff, the other people who supported it clearly did not get anything. And then they were left in poverty. And then it was kind of like, I told you so moment. And nearing the end of the war, people were starting to realize, like, this is bad. We need to like do something about it. And so a lot of people fled to Brazil, which had like a kind of American style slavery there. And they started up huge plantations. And that you can go down there and you can learn about, like, there's huge 1,000-acre plantations down there up until like 1885 when I think they ended slavery.
That's weird. It's almost like a cult following.
It was
like
culture. It was like, the book Political Economy of Slavery, written by Eugene Genovese. He ends it by saying they weren't just fighting for slaves, they were fighting for their way of life. So these people, it was like a whole cultural thing, you know.
That's so bizarre because you hear about like the North and the South and they talk about it and it's like, okay, they're all Americans though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they were just misguided, or, you know, like these were the bad guys, but in the end we were all good. You know, you know what I mean? Like we all figured it out, but it's bizarre to hear it in like this cult-like fashion where they're literally escaping to continue their freedom, and it's less about like money and more about like, this is who I
it's more
am.
about like the ideology, their lifestyle. Yeah,
that's bizarre.
And so that's why I proposed it. It was like, I don't think most people would know that, and so
like, as far as like a teachable thing, what would you say like the purpose of, I guess, framing it, even other than it's true? What do you think, like, the purpose of framing it that way? Like, how do you think it'll help to have people know that about the history?
I think it'll give a new perspective on America and specifically the South, because I think there's a lot of bad connotations that go with the South, but it's also still like the United States, and I think it's all bad everywhere in the same light. But the main reason why I wanted to do this was because the field of Southern history is very, very niche, and there's not that very many people in it. And I think it is because it's such a daunting task to get into it. And I feel like if there was this historiography that you could learn all sides, every angle, and just read it, and this isn't the end goal, it's just the building block. So it's like the foundation. So you can read this, and then you can go off and you can read other stuff and tie it back to this.
Like a big comprehensive thing, so you don't have to find all this stuff on your own.
And you can go off and you can tie other stuff back to this and formulate your own opinions about what you think happened. Because, you know, I believe it's true because I've looked at them and I've read them and I trust the research. But just because I believe it doesn't mean that it's necessarily true.
Yeah.
Or just because it's written doesn't mean it's necessarily true.
Well, it's weird. I'm wondering. Sorry, I had something to say about this, but I couldn't remember what it was.
That's fine.
So, yeah, you write Bro, I had such a good point, and
Dang.
I literally cannot remember it. No, it's interesting how this. Did you learn anything about the like the northern end? I mean, it's weird when you write this good starting block and then you're telling people to research it. Did you learn anything about both sides that you were willing to put into?
When I chose these books, I chose obviously that one, but I chose one that also talked about, well, I chose a book that not necessarily is all about the northern perspective, but it deals with someone who's dealing with the northern perspective. So it's like about a slave who's newly freed, and he gets elected to a Congress election in South Carolina, and talks about his whole journey of becoming educated and then becoming a congressman, and like you learn about what the North's intent was. Once they beat the South, they started pushing in all these cotton mills and whatever, and it wasn't so much that they wanted to. I mean, they wanted to end slavery as a first goal, but they also wanted to industrialize the South so they could make more money because there's a lot of fertile land down there.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what history boils down to is who wants money and how do they want it. Well, because I think I remember what I was gonna ask you about. Do you think that a lot of the reason why, do you think talking about the South and like researching the South makes people uncomfortable? Like, I think
it doesn't fit the narrative.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing to read.
U.S. history is one big narrative, and that's what we're taught, obviously. And so, in the narrative, the North is the good guys, and the South are the dirty people who poor. They have slaves, and they're just evil. But while slavery, I do condemn slavery.
Oh, that was my next point.
Yeah. It's just like
how do you talk about the South in a positive way or in a neutralizing way, and then not make it seem like you
have to humanize
slavery.
them.
Yeah.
You have to realize that these were people too who had lives and families and history. I mean, like slavery had been there since the 13 colonies. So this isn't something that they just started in the 1800s and kept going. Like this is rooted.
And I think most of the world was also.
I know a lot of people say America is so bad for having slavery, but a lot of other countries have slavery. Like I mentioned, Brazil didn't get rid of slavery till 1885. So
so they had it for
like 20 years over what we had.
Yeah. So I think it's an uncomfortable thing to talk about, especially when you have people who are like very. Well, normally when you're in history, and especially if you're going to study U.S. history, you normally want to study it to like discover the beauty of it, or like. You want to be a part of America, the story of us, and like show the like really triumphant story.
A lot of people who study U.S. history study war history. That it's World War II.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think?
Because World War II obviously is the greatest conflict to ever happen on this earth, and the United States is painted as we beat them once, we have to come back and save you again.
We gotta stay down type mentality.
I mean, the propaganda that you see from the posters that they posted back then where, it's like America is always portrayed as this big, brawn. Well, it's like Uncle Sam, and they're picking up the pieces of whatever. There's so many propaganda things you can look up, and it's like they always portray Uncle Sam, big dude. The one I'm thinking about is like when they talk about bringing people to civilization, and it was Uncle Sam and like the guy that represents Great Britain, and then they're carrying baskets up this like mountain, and in these baskets are their territory. So it was like in the U.S. it was like Guam, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and then in Britain it was just their colonies, and they're painted in horribly stereotypical, like big lips, horrible things, like children too. Yeah. And then it's Uncle Sam in Britain carrying them up this mountain, and each rock that they climb, it says like virtue, savagery, like something like that. And then at the top, you can see a big rock that says civilization with the sun peering over, and it's like we have to do our part to bring them up to speed. I was like,
dude, do you think there's like accuracy in this? Like, I mean, as a history major, there's so many good things, or there's so many things that are disguised as good, but behind them is kind of like either like greed or like something that's just not really true, or just kind of like bad morals in general. So like when people are talking about the U.S. history, would you say it is like primarily bad, or I mean,
if U.S. history is bad, then every history is bad because no history is clean. There's not one civilization on Earth that didn't think we're better and we're gonna kill those other people because we think they're lesser.
Okay, so you'd say,
and you could argue like, oh well, this civilization, doesn't have that. Well, how far back do their written records go? Like, how far back can we really prove
that they were fine?
Written records, like oral testimony.
Mm-hmm. Just the whole, and some countries have been around for less time than others in general also. So,
but also like, there is a scale of like, what they did was worse than others. Mm-hmm. So you also have to look at it that way. But no history is clean.
Okay, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good perspective to have, especially when you want to try to not look at history with like a motive of like, this is what I want to try and be
unbiased. Though it's impossible to be truly unbiased, you have to try your best.
You just have to try it at the very least. So what about, have you done any looking into like World War II in that area, or is that just something that
I took a World War II class, and it was probably the most boring class I've ever taken.
It just wasn't. Was it just like tanks and like showing you all the
it talked about like the deeper intricacies of the war. Like, it was interesting. Like, it goes way deeper than like internet historians would talk about. But I could care less about World War II.
Dang, man.
I could care less about war history.
I know
other than the Civil War.
I know Jaden was telling me he just watched this documentary about the history of the opioid epidemic. Yeah. And like where that. Do you know about that?
I don't know. That? I don't know. No.
I know that according to this documentary, it's like cited. It goes back to just this one family. Like, one family single-handedly created the opioid epidemic, and like since opioid is like technically a painkiller, but it was only given to like people who were dying, and on hospice, and then they'd give it to just like help it, and then they slowly would like worm loopholes to try to like get it into a wider audience. Yeah, because they know that it's super addictive, and so they would just like they intentionally created this opioid. Just one family over 3 generations. Yeah, like sent opioids into the world, and then created the not antidote, but created the medicine that helps you get off it as well. And so now they're like the 3rd richest family in the world. Yeah. Like for creating that, and it's like one person can do that, and then you look at history and you think like, okay, if one family can do this, like I couldn't even imagine the kind of things that could happen. Like, and it sounds like conspiracy theorists, which sucks about talking about things like this. But it's like, where do you even draw that line then? Like, if you're going to talk about something that's crazy in history, like, when is it now too far?
I think that's up to you when you have to judge it, You
have to be like...
There has to be a point where it's like, all right, now, what are we really talking about here? Like, what's the underlying motive?
Mm-hmm. And like, what's the purpose also? You have to begin to ask.
Yeah, I'm taking a history class in Germany, about Germany right now, and there's, a lot of deep-rooted anti-Semitism in Germany.
Still?
Well, maybe not as deep as it was, but it's definitely a part of its history. Not from World War II, but going way back. And a lot of people will say that like Jewish people run the world, and that was a huge thing. Marketing for the Nazis was like, we got to get rid of them out of Germany because they run all the businesses. Mm-hmm. And so it's like at some point,
you still hear that nowadays.
Yeah, no, you do. It's actually gaining momentum again, which is terrifying. Yeah, but you have to look at it and be like, where? Like, why? Like, who? They often, who's like the roles? It's like the Rothschilds. You know about that? They're so rich that their amount of money isn't even like known. What? Like, like you look up top 10 richest people in the world. It's like the Rothschilds aren't. I don't know if this for a fact, but I've never seen the Rothschilds on there, and that's because they're so rich that nobody knows how much they have.
Like, I've heard that.
And I bet there are some like oil barons. Yeah, they're so rich they don't even need to flaunt their money. There's probably a trillionaire out there, and we will never know because
that's what I've been hearing is that like, you have like this top 10 list of rich people, but the amount of people who don't want to be seen as rich, who don't put themselves on that list, is also staggering.
And that's also a conspiracy theory. Like, that also sounds like a conspiracy theory. I know. It kind of is. And it's like
sucks. Anything that ends with but I don't have exact proof. No matter how logical it is, it's just everyone's just like, whatever, whatever.
Show me the facts.
I know, but what you begin to ask yourself is like, okay, how does it affect me to be believing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what's the point in even pursuing this unless there's like a moral to be had or like an important lesson to share with people.
Right.
Which is why I think studying history can be important as long as you're able to like tell people what the point is. You know what I mean? So like I learned this history so I can tell you don't do that or like do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's why they say history repeats itself, so you gotta learn it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean, they say that that's what the point of history is. So like you don't learn history unless you're doomed to repeat it or whatever.
Right.
But you got to actually like make that step and connect it to today,
right.
which I think people are missing out on. As a general broadening thing. So what do you think about your classmates in history? I mean, what kind of people do you think that you're in a conducive, supportive environment as far as learning goes, or?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
I mean, everyone's interested in history. They don't necessarily have to be interested in what I'm interested in, but they still think it's cool. Like just because I don't want to learn about World War II doesn't mean that like if you present something cool, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's stupid. Why would I?
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna like actually listen and.
I'm in history honors, and that's a pretty good group. There's a lot of good professors of that support around there.
Yeah, tell me what that is, because I saw that, and originally I thought you were in a fraternity, and I was like, how did I not know that? Like, how did I not know you were in a frat?
No, Phi Alpha Theta is the name of the organization of history honors, and it's not just like a Iowa State thing. It's like a collegiate thing.
Okay, yeah.
So, in order to get into it, you have to maintain above, I think, a 3.5 GPA, and have taken 24 credits of history.
And so it's just like kind of like a community learning like group of people who.
I mean, it's honors, like so. You actually have to.
Yeah. Are you gonna have to do an honors thesis then, or?
Nope.
Dang.
Nope. I know. But I do have to get inducted. That is happening next month.
What does that mean? Like in this context.
They as far as I know, they're gonna walk me on a stage and give me a certificate.
Okay. You're gonna get your other diploma.
Yeah. But I mean, having that on my resume is gonna be absolutely huge.
Oh yeah.
Some of the top scholars are part of history associations, are part of Phi Alpha Theta.
Okay, yeah. So this is a good ticket to ride.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. Grad school, which I want to do, everyone will be like, "Oh, he's on Phi Alpha Theta."
Do you have any plans for that?
Yeah.
So where do you want to go? Do you think?
I'm thinking maybe Tennessee. There's like so I don't want to go down in the deep South, like Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, because that's so stinking hot.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want that. I want some semblance of 4 seasons.
Yeah, so 200 degrees.
I'm thinking like Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, kind of like around all those.
And so are you going to like be pursuing Southern history?
Yeah.
Like, is that what you're honing in on?
Yeah.
Okay. And so like in psych, when you're picking your major, you have like this catalog of like the 7 different fields. Is that what it is for history too? Like you have
when you go to a grad school, they have like history of American studies, European studies. I mean, it all varies. Like not every college has the same thing, but usually in America, if you go to grad school, there will be an American studies.
Okay, and so that's what you'd be.
And that would cover literally like anything.
Okay. And so that's something that. So then, after you go to grad school, what are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to work at like a museum?
Or an archive, preferably.
Yeah, and
it's competitive. I mean, we talked about this last time. It's competitive. And so you need a lot of qualification, and I figured, why don't I just spend the time to get the top qualification so that there's no chance I fail?
Yeah. So, and plus, if you're genuinely interested in it, and I said this to like anybody who's talked to me about like professional things, like as long as you show interest, I feel like you are just like a leg up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like enthusiasm, interest, like you should be good.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to write a book for my doctoral thesis about Southern history, something. I'm like, it'll be good. And, I'll be like, if this isn't getting me in here, then I don't know, I spent 8 years researching this book.
Changing major. Yeah. Yeah, and then you can show them this podcast, too. And
I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, I was on a podcast a couple times for...
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait to see you on, like, the History Channel.
I don't think I'll ever do any work with the History Channel. It's such a scam.
I was like, your hair is so crazy. a lot of the times that you'll just blend right in with the history people.
Yeah, the aliens guy's like,
Yeah.
who built the aliens?
yeah. That's what you're gonna look like, the giant hair.
Yeah.
I'd say shaved head. The thumbnails between like this picture and then a different picture is gonna be so wildly different.
Dude, shaved head, I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty nice.
Dude, it's just it's fun. It doesn't feel good.
It feels great. It feels great. I save so much money on shampoo.
The spring air, like tickling your scalp.
I've gotten a lot of compliments on it.
Really?
Yeah, I
From
have.
liars? Is that?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
I kind of like the long hair. The mullet was.
I think I might grow out the mullet again, and then I might take some funny photos.
Yeah, the shaggy hair was pretty good. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
For sure.
It just sucks because I think it takes me like 6 to 8 months to grow it out to the length to do it, and I just like I don't want to go through the awkward phase of growing my hair out.
Like kind of weird long hair.
Yeah. It's like,
I missed the kind of bowl cut of the.
Yeah, in high school I had a bowl
earlier.
cut. Just because I didn't care to, dude. High school me, I did not care to style anything. Dude, it's just like I roll up.
It's just weird. So, I mean, I knew you in high school, but were you interested in history? Or is this something that you just kind of?
I was gonna go to the history department first semester, but my dad's like, you gotta try comp sci. You'll never know.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
your dad
okay.
was like,
okay, I'll try it, and I hated it. And then I switched to advertising. I was like, I don't know why, but I was like, I don't want to do history. It seems like everyone clowns on history, being like,
what
it's
brought
so
you
easy.
to advertising.
I just never done it before. I was like, I want to see what it's like, and it was horrible. I was like, no, ain't no way. It was worse than comp sci.
I can't believe you switched majors twice and you're still graduating like a semester early, right?
I did so much history in DMAC.
That like you're.
If I would have been a history major first semester, I might have graduated in 2 years.
Dang.
Because I've only been a history major since my fall of sophomore year. So this is my spring of my junior year. Technically.
It will be just like 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, man. Oh, and I couldn't imagine doing a major that you're not interested during COVID year. Like
advertising sucks. I feel bad for any advertising majors. If you are not in it wholeheartedly, you will get eaten alive.
The grind is hard for advertising majors.
I thought that history was competitive. Holy crap. Advertising is rough.
Dang, what did they have you even doing?
It was like nothing crazy, but like what really killed it for me was I had to do this thing where I had to meet with my advisor to talk about advertising something. It was like signing up for classes. And it was on Canvas, or it was during COVID, so it had to be on Zoom. And so I did it. And it was up to her to enter the grade, not my teacher. And she didn't enter it. It was like 100 points.
Yeah, so she's just failing now?
I was literally failing. And I was like messaging all these professors, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And they wouldn't do anything. So then I messaged, I think it was the dean of the, I don't know if there is a dean. It was like the dean of
the president or whatever.
The
like
dean,
the top dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wrote him this fat email with some very harsh words in there about how much of a joke this major is. He responded by saying, or she responded with saying, I'm sorry you're having experience that everyone's going through COVID, hard times. You know. I'm like, okay.
Karen emailed them and they just sent you an auto reply.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, okay, well, I don't need to be an advertising major then.
Dang, man, what a story. You got to tell that to more the horror stories of advertising majors.
Yeah, you should get an advertising major on this podcast and ask
I'll show them this clip and be like, so is this you? Is this stuff you deal with every day?
Advertising 101, whoever that teacher was, always had a bacon, egg, and cheese from McDonald's every single time we met. ASMR, loud. I hated it.
You just smell.
Yeah, I was
smell
like,
the McDonald's
stupid, God.
It's gonna give you flashbacks every time you go through a drive-through. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Rainbow because where are you in that? So like I haven't talked to you about Rainbow in a while. So what are you doing?
Okay, so actually I haven't been playing Rainbow that much because it's really bad for my mental health.
Let's say you're sober. How long?
I mean maybe okay, there's a lot that has happened, but
did you relapse?
So I haven't played in maybe a week, which doesn't seem like that long, but I used to play every day for like 6 hours.
Yeah, so it's a full-time job. So
I actually had to completely factory reset my computer because I
Zip bomb? Is this the zip bomb?
I zip bombed myself.
I can't believe that actually came to something, dude.
I actually had to, because I downloaded every single download from my download folder onto my desktop, and I couldn't do anything. So I just factory reset. So I had to actually uninstall Rainbow and reinstall it for the first time since 2018.
Dang.
Yeah. So 1,700 hours later, I finally uninstall it and reinstall it. So I haven't played yet, but I've been doing pretty good. Actually, this year I've really improved.
So run me through your whole story with Rainbow Six Siege, like how you got into it, where you were, what positions, where you are now.
So setting is March 2018, and my good friend and roommate Parker, who has been playing Rainbow Six Siege since the beta on Xbox, was like, Sam, you got to get this game. We're all playing it on PC. So I try it out, and I suck. But there's something about it that like itches my brain. I'm like, because I played a lot of Black Ops 2, and that itched my brain for a while, but obviously that fell out of popularity a long time ago.
You already hated your life when you played Dark Souls, so you can just kind of move it over to...
So 2018, I start playing, and I'm playing a lot, and I'm getting there, and then eventually, you know, I would say the most time I've ever spent is like during the dorms, because like we would literally play. I kid you not, I'd wake up.
This was COVID, right?
Yep, COVID. Wake up at 8 a.m. This is my schedule every day. Wake up at 8 a.m., join my Zoom meeting, mute the call, play Rainbow Six Siege, maybe take a break to do homework, and then go get food, come back, and we would play till 2 a.m. So from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. I was playing Rainbow, regardless of how much I absolutely hated it.
Dude, I can't believe a gamer wakes up at 8 a.m.
I had a class.
to play Rainbow, man.
I had a class, and I had to be there because during COVID, they would mark you for attendance.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I got to be here, but... You know, I got to mute him for the sound calls. So.
Sorry, prof. I got to...
That's why I hated advertising so much.
I'm like Thatcher. I got to be able to hear.
Oh, my God. But yeah, I joined the esports team. I think it's like my 4th season. I've never had a winning season. And it's partially because I suck in competitive. Because, you know, and when you play ranked, like, it tries to queue a simulate people. So sometimes you might get some people that are way lower than you. So you have a really good time.
So you just demolish,
Comp, I'm not very good. Other than this year, I've done decent this year. My highest rank is Emerald 3, which, if you don't know, is like the newest rank that they've added. So forever, that I was stuck gold 1. Hard stuck gold, like 99% of all players who get to this point.
So is it bronze, gold, emerald, diamond?
It's copper, bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamond, champ.
Okay.
And I was stuck hard gold, and that's where the peak of all players got stuck, because the transition from gold to plat 3 was insane. But then they came out with this rank 2.0 where it's like you win there's every rank now has 5 ranks, so it's like copper 5 to copper 1. And then they added a new rank, emerald. And so when you win a game, you win 80 elo, and then if you lose a game, you lose like 5.
Yeah.
So I'm like milking this.
Yeah.
And I got to emerald 3, which is the highest I've ever been. That's like I was only 2 off a diamond. So I was pretty I wouldn't say I was that much better, but I think if it was back in the old system, I might have been plat 3.
Dang, man.
It's not that impressive, but...
Dude, that is impressive. You don't hear of a lot of... Like, that's how you know, like, you play. Like, well, you're good.
Like I said, I have total 1,700 hours clocked.
Dang. So, and that's only in the last, like, 4 years.
So...
Or however long.
Like,
yeah,
3 years-ish. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I've been playing... If you play consistently, you'll get good. It's hard, though. It's so hard. The learning curve is insane.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to Jaden about. But so walk me through like what the esports team looks like. Like, so you have JV and varsity.
Yeah.
And then like, where have you been on the teams? Like, have you been JV?
So
like,
we don't have that many players in recent years. But when I first joined, I was on the bottom. Cardinal. So it went Cardinal team, gold team, JV, varsity.
Yeah.
And I was put on the Cardinal team because our EM didn't know where to put me. So I was just thrown on there unfairly.
Yeah.
We played maybe 2 games because the other ones we had to forfeit because nobody showed up. Super terrible. Oh. Then I got on to, I think I've been on JV pretty much ever since then because there hasn't been enough players, but I'm good enough to actually start.
Yeah.
And when you talk about starting, it's not so much like just like, oh, you're better than everyone. It's kind of like a combination of like map knowledge, call out knowledge, And
like
then gun
team
skill.
and like team we're building, and I'm assuming that has a good play. Like who plays good
Team
together,
comp is huge.
Yeah, yeah. So who do you play again?
Well, this semester I've been playing a lot of entry fragger.
Okay.
And I played Zofia and Ayana.
Okay.
Mainly.
I don't know them, but I figured someone in the audience would be interested
Yeah.
in the defense.
If you know, you know. And on defense, I play Roam, so I'm usually Oryx, which is such an annoying roamer, or Alibi.
Who's the quiet girl? The
Cav.
Yeah. Everyone.
Nobody plays Cav.
Really?
If you play Cav in anything above like silver, you'll be shamed.
Mid-ladder menace.
You will be shamed. Yeah.
Okay, so then, what was the transition between like playing? So now you're like playing in your room, just like I'm assuming solo queuing or maybe with some friends.
I can't solo queue anymore.
Honestly, I wouldn't expect you to be breathing if
it's
so
were
solo
unbelievably
queuing.
Not fun.
Yeah,
like, it's just like you can't do anything.
Honestly, I think that's most games. Like any game in the competitive realm, like solo queuing is just garbage.
It's so bad.
Like it's just how to have the least fun.
It's just also like my interest in video games changes. Like, I'm playing a lot of RimWorld right now with a lot of mods, which I know you know what that is, but so I'll be playing that a lot, and it's nice because it can be stressful, but it can also just be a really relaxing experience.
It's like
Rainbow is fun for when I want to like fuel my ego
and get emotions flowing, like get adrenaline running.
If you want see some emotions, I don't think I saved them all, but if you watch my live stream while I'm playing, there's some moments. Hachoman.tv.
How do you spell that?
How do I say it? It's capital HICH 0 capital MAN Hacho. I think I spelled it.
HITCH, is it?
No. We'll figure it out.
I'll put it in the description.
But anyways, if you watch, I get mad. I pummel my desk and I scream obscenities.
Oh, I've seen you. Yeah. I've seen it. I think, well, because
it's just like, it's so infuriating.
That's the hard part about the game, because you die so instantly. And I was talking to Jay about this. I watch you play, and like, if you've never played Rainbow, it's hyper realistic. Like, it's supposed to be as realistic as possible. And like all the walls are breakable. And I was watching Sam played, and he literally elbows a wall, and he has a hole like this big. He puts his scope to it, and he can see maybe over half the wall. And then he is killing people through the wall. Yeah. If I died, it is maybe an under exaggeration to say it would be impossible for me to see you. Impossible.
There are some maps where you can literally like shoot someone. You can elbow a wall with a gun or whatever and create a little hole, and then you can see like 100 meters and be able to one tap someone. And it's like no one in their right mind would be thinking, "Oh, what's that little speck out on the wall that I need to be watching for?" It's like, what? That's I would say 99% of my reactions at first when I die is like,
yeah, it's
what?
That's why the game would be so infuriating, because you die within maybe 2 bullet shots, and then most of the time 1.
You can win a game with 5 bullets, because it only takes 1 bullet to get a headshot.
And so you can die within a split second, and now you are just watching the game. And so
it's like
I bet you
spawn peaks are the worst.
I know. I bet you in your 1,700 hours, you are actually playing the game for probably only 300 hours.
Well, I'm sure it's gone up since I've started, but like, holy crap! Like when I was in silver, I got spawn peaked all the time, and it wasn't even the fact that I got spawn peaked. I was just so upset because like I wanted to play.
You want to play the game.
I was like, I wanted to play this round, man.
That's what frustrates me so much, because like that's why I play Smash Bros, because there's not a point when you're not playing. You know what I mean? Like the round just ends quicker.
And you know what's great about that too is like I spawn peak now because like I have the confidence because I played enough
to do it.
And it's like if I get a pick off of the first 30 seconds, my team's gonna be like, nice job, Sam. Let's keep it going. It's a 4v5. We got numbers. But on their side, it's like, bro,
dude, it's like the duality of reactions to playing the game. I think Rainbow has to be one of the most frustrating games on the planet. I can't
It's
really
aggravating.
think of. I can't think of.
I've bruised my hand from patting my desk so hard.
It's so. But like, what brings you to it?
It's just like, okay, well, I have been playing the game long enough to know what it takes to win. And when someone does something that like maybe is like unorthodox, because like there are strats. There's plenty of default strats, and it's like if someone is sitting in a corner, it's like you wouldn't expect it, and like it's smart on their part because obviously they expect no one to think they're there, and they'll get the free kill. But it's like I'll sit there and I'll get picked off from some random corner, and it'll be like, what is the thought? Like, why are you there? Objective is downstairs. Like, why are you up here, like, in this one corner in the dark?
It's almost like they want to get you. Like they
No, they do. They do.
It's a mind game, man.
Dude, the amount of trash talk, they've definitely okay. So this new updates that they put out, they've curbed it a lot. It's a lot less toxic.
Okay.
But wow, there are some toxic people on there.
Dude, I couldn't. It's funny.
And I'm toxic too because it's just a part of the community.
I try not to be.
I try not to be. I have my exemplary status.
Yeah. No biggie. You gotta, he's actually a Boy Scout. So
there are people on that game that are perma muted and perma banned from chat.
Dang, from just being
and if you can go into the logs and stuff like the code of the game and you can see like what Ubi has them labeled things. So you could be labeled like racist and be perma muted.
You just have a flag on you?
Yeah. It's
dude, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like it's ruthless.
Imagine Siege, but with death, like in PUBG when you kill somebody, you have like 3 seconds, like the death comms.
That would be, dude.
Even 0.1 second would be funny.
It would be atrocious.
Yeah.
That's why team chat's violent.
Team chat's. I mean, you think League of Legends is a really toxic.
I think League is way more toxic than Rainbow.
Really? That's probably.
I think
that's probably true because the games are longer and you have more opportunity to type.
Siege is pretty toxic, and I will give props to Ubisoft for uploading this like reputation system that will monitor what you say and all this other stuff to make it so that it's more enjoyable. But my God, League, I've watched League like clips. It's like some of the things that these people come up with, it's like, holy crap, dude! It's like, just a game. Let's like take it down a few notches. I know you're top laning right now, and you're not getting any support, but you could walk away.
just go ahead and close the game for a while and just
go play Minecraft or something, like build a house.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. RimWorld's just your escape for
really
honestly.
Is.
It's basically just more realistic Stardew Valley. Like it's just I don't know. Siege is funny, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about just like esports in general, because I've been keeping up with the Smash Bros drama with all the esports things. But why people have been talking about esports being like this big thing for the last like 5 years.
Yeah,
they're like esports going to be on television, it's going to be on ESPN, like it's going to be this big deal, and it's like you're just not. I don't know. Maybe it is, and I'm just stupid, but it's not taking off. Like it doesn't really exist anymore.
I don't know. I think it is.
Do you think it is?
I mean, you can look up like the Fortnite tournaments. Like I think Fortnite, CS:GO, and League are probably the biggest ones.
Yeah,
if I had to guess. And like in Seoul, South Korea, they fill up huge stadiums to watch. And like SI or Siege Invitational just happened, which is like the biggest event of all. It's like the Super Bowl of Siege events.
Yeah.
And I mean, like consistently, they had 3 streams. There's like Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie stream, and I think they're all in like different languages, I think.
Okay.
So Alpha stream had like 75,000 viewers consistently.
That's pretty
Bravo had like 25, and then C had like 15 to 10.
Okay, I mean, that's pretty good. It's not
over 100,000 people are watching. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And that doesn't even include the people who are in the stadium.
Yeah, the people who are live, and obviously the ton of people who are playing in it too.
And the pot for like the top people was like $1 million.
That's the biggest thing.
I mean, and then second place was 400,000. So I mean, you like, it's getting there. I mean, to think that it'll be on TV, I think it could probably happen, but it's not gonna be like after the Chiefs play. You know, it's like you will not
big as the Super Bowl.
you can't dethrone football or baseball. It just won't happen.
That's what we were talking about because we were wondering about like the half-life of most competitive games seems really short, but football's been around for a century.
I mean, Siege has been around for 8 years.
It hasn't been pretty consistently. Like
I would say
big
so.
esports? 'Cause-
I would say so. No, I mean it's not like anything like a CS:GO. You want to talk about CS:GO? It's League, been around forever.
League has been,
and they
League's
just
huge.
introduced CS:GO 2.
Yeah,
And they're having like 1.5 million concurrent players average every day.
which is so. I hate CS:GO. I don't know why. It's an ugly game. It's just,
Well, you should see CS:GO 2.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
wait, is that a new game? Like,
They just updated the engine.
is it a better game now?
It's the
Or
same
is it-
game.
Oh, okay.
It's the same game, but the graphics are like stupid enhanced.
It's like people.
They took
playing-
like I don't even know, it's like the Valve engine that the like Portal 2, Gmod,
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff has been
Team
built
Fortress.
on, and they made it so now it has like ray tracing and 4K stuff and like realistic physics and all that stuff.
I have to look at that. 'Cause,
And a lot of people are speculating this is when we're gonna get like Half-Life 3,
yeah,
Portal 3.
They've been speculating for a long
They've
time.
been speculating, but I think this might be their biggest breakthrough. A new engine.
Yeah, you
I
can't
mean,
you can't say that and then get people's hope up. Well, because Half-Life Alyx was incredible, but
yeah.
it's not like a full Half-Life game. So
I think it is.
well,
I'm pretty sure it's
'cause
a full Half-Life game.
well, because it's so different fundamentally than like because it's a VR game.
Have you
Like,
played
it's
it?
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's
first
incredible,
off. It's
yeah.
one of the coolest things
It's
ever.
a technical marvel.
just like reloading a gun and I was playing it. I played it for like 4 hours, and I found myself like just for a split second I'd see something in real life and then I'd like try to do the gravity thing. Like I'd try to use my gravity glove to like pull it forward. I'd be like, oh, I need that phone. And I was like, oh god, I was so used to being.
I'm
able to
very
do
excited to see what they put out. That's like the biggest game that Valve has put out in forever.
It's one of those things that like make you think like, okay, technology's here. Like we're going.
Well, it's here, but who's willing to?
Yeah, who's willing to put in the work?
Like, what I'm really nervous about is Starfield coming out.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
It's Bethesda's next big game.
Is it?
They are saying it's like Skyrim in space.
Yeah, but that's what they said about what was it?
Fallout 76.
No. It's the space game. It was really disappointing. It was on the Xbox.
No Man's Sky.
No, that was also a space game. That was disappointing. No, it's just an Aether or something. It's
No
so
idea,
annoying.
no
I had
idea.
someone complain to me about it.
No, but this is being made by Bethesda, and from what I've heard, it's still on the Fallout 4 engine.
I'll say, do you remember what? Why?
So we'll see.
Wait, do you remember the?
If this game flops, there will be no Elder Scrolls 6.
I was well, they did the Elder Scrolls 6 teaser trailer 5 years ago.
Let me tell you, dude, I literally remember where I was. I was in the basement watching E3, and it was like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I saw they announced it, and I literally ran out of my basement and ran to Casey's to tell Ben and show Ben, who was working at Casey's,
Whoa.
the teaser. I was like, Ben, they just announced Elder Scrolls 6. Can you believe it? And so I was a sophomore in high school, and I'm almost graduating college. So
And you still remember?
time's ticking.
Time's ticking, man. Before I give up on it, like before I don't care about this anymore. Oh man, I don't know, because Fallout 76 was a disaster, and then Elder Scrolls Online was just not enough, and so I don't know, man. I have my hopes up, but after they did, what's the big game? Cyberpunk. After Cyberpunk.
Well, they've polished that.
Is it playable now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Is it
actually
good?
okay. You know what? They've turned around No Man's Sky
Okay.
to make it actually really good, and they've done the exact same thing with Cyberpunk.
Okay.
I think they put out Cyberpunk because of pressure on release dates, but I think they definitely had the good intentions to be like, this is going to work.
Okay. I'll have to check it out, because I've brought up Cyberpunk and people are like, it's actually pretty playable now. It's pretty
they've definitely fixed it.
Okay, good, because I felt bad for that community.
CD Projekt Red was like sweating in
Yeah. This is probably the most hate for a game in a pretty long time.
Yeah.
And a game that they were like pressured to put out too.
Oh
so
yeah.
it's like,
Well, I mean, there's so much hype behind it. The amount of things that they promised that were
I know
just not
that does
functional.
not there.
But now they are.
Game was pretty unplayable, which sucks because they probably lost all their community.
I mean, I don't. There was a huge resurgence. It was like back in October. There was a huge resurgence of people. I remember like all my roommates were playing it.
Are you still playing Overwatch?
Not really, not as much, but I was
Okay.
for a little bit.
Yeah, because man, that was weird. They just one, they did Overwatch 2 just under our noses. Like I feel like it just came out, and then also is the exact same game as the first one.
Yeah,
like, indistinguishable.
With
So
it too.
they might as well have not put 2 in the title.
It's a little, it's rough. It's fun though. I don't have it downloaded anymore because I don't.
I
wiped it.
Yeah, because you zip bombed your own.
Yeah, I had to
computer.
wipe everything. So
That's so funny, dude. When you came out, you don't understand how serious that can be until like you just lose all your garbage. So did you lose everything, or did you just have to like
everything?
Dang,
down
man.
to I lost like my resume and my cover letter. I did save my passwords.
Weird, but yeah.
Not weird. That's huge.
Yeah, I guess I don't know the password for most of my things. So
I lost everything.
Maybe that was God telling you that you need to take a break from
It's kind of nice though because now it's just like
you're just happy.
I just have nothing on my desktop except for my recycle bin.
Yeah, dang man. It's that clean reset.
It's just like ooh.
It knew you needed it. It
Yeah,
knew you needed to take a break. Yeah, so we're running on 8:00 now, so I'll probably let you go. But did you figure out the name for that your Twitch channel?
Well, it's Haicho Man. So
yeah, so
capital HI, capital CH0, capital MAN.
Still that blue profile pic, like blue and white.
It's a guy eating ravioli. Pretty sure.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, check it out because I miss the Noida streams, but
yeah. Only OG fans will know the black hole hype.
Black hole hype, dude. Yeah. Ah, dang. Yeah. So check out anything else you want to plug.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was awesome having you on again. So
yeah, it was fun.